As he left Downing Street for the final time, former Prime Minister Keir Starmer said that he was confident Britain is stronger and fairer than it was 2 years ago. And he said he's optimistic about the possibility now of changing society for the better. Of course, he won't be the man in charge. It will be new Prime Minister Andy Burnham, who said in his opening speech that he understands politics does have to change and that people are fed up with the status quo. He's promising some pretty radical reform that would effectively be described as left-wing policy. It is undoing what he says was the work of Margaret Thatcher, which he would characterise as too far in the wrong direction with regard to privatisation, too right-wing. This is a left-wing government Andy Burnham is proposing, and he said his first instruction to his officials would be to end rough sleeping. He says that is the kind of thing that he wants to send a message to the public to show that that is what his government is about. In terms of other policy, we don't know as we might normally would, say for example if we had had a leadership campaign for leader of the Labour Party or even a general election. Andy Burnham went into this job uncontested, and so he says in the next few days he will be outlining some quick policies that he'll hopefully be able to implement very fast with regard to reducing the cost of living, with some costs as well. People here, including in the opposition parties, are very concerned about how he's going to pay for all of his promises. And then later in the year, he said in his opening speech, he'll lay out a plan for the next 10 years, which we understand will involve measures like potentially nationalising certain public utilities, addressing the cost of living directly, and also trying to get a grip on social care, which he says is currently in England the worst of both worlds. All of this is what Andy Burnham is trying to portray as a pretty radical departure from the former Prime Ministers, even as far back, right all the way to Margaret Thatcher 40 years ago. He suggested that the reforms she made, which would be characterised as right-wing reforms, privatisation and less help from the state, were mistakes. Andy Burnham wants to move back to a situation in the UK where the state takes more responsibility for things like social care, healthcare, and also reducing the cost of living, which could, of course, mean more taxes, perhaps a wealth tax, which he has not ruled out, and maybe taxes on capital gains as well. So we don't yet know exactly what Andy Burnham is proposing, but certainly the reception he gained in Downing Street earlier was a very optimistic one. There were plenty of people both happy with Keir Starmer, but also clapping for the new Prime Minister Andy Burnham. He's made big promises here, and over the next few days we will start to see, especially when he makes his cabinet appointments, about what he aims to deliver. Stuart Smith, SABC News, London.